back to another edition of Research Fantasy Presents our NBA DFS value plays for Monday, February 5th, 2017. I'm actually just going straight off the article. Did a lot of research over the weekend. Really feel like these guys are all in position to do some damage tonight, so they're people that I want to put in my lineups. Let's get things started off with Marcin Gortat, 5,200, FanDuel, 5,100, DraftKings. Gortat's not necessarily a very high floor player or a high ceiling player, but I think in the absence of John Wall, and especially given this matchup against Indiana, we're putting ourselves in a pretty good position. I don't think Gortat will see much ownership because people just don't like playing him. People want to play the center. Really, it's just all across the board. A lot of people don't want to play the guy whose ceiling is probably 31 fantasy points because they're not getting 8x out of their player. And while that is possible with Gortat, it's just really not likely. But one thing I do know is that Indiana has been awful against big men all year, and it's been an advantageous strategy to target them in that way. Gortat seeing more usage with Wall out. I really don't see a reason not to use him tonight. I mean, there's always a chance that any of your guys can end up with really poor games. I mean, having the illusion that someone is necessarily safer than someone else. Yes, there's guys who are going to hit their value more often, but the reality of the situation is that statistic doesn't mean anything if you happen to pick the guy who hits value 90% of the time, one of the 10% of the time that he doesn't hit value. It's daily fantasy. So you're going to give yourself maybe better odds in theory putting that guy that's 90% more stable in your lineup, but if he doesn't do well, he doesn't do well. So whether someone doesn't do well at 90% consistency or 56% consistency, it doesn't matter. Really kind of spiraling out of control here. The point is, Gortat against Indiana is a matchup I like. I'm going to play it tonight. I'm going to stay in the same game. I'm going to stay on the same team, and I'm going to go back to Thomas Satoransky, 5,600 FanDuel, 5K DraftKings. We've really only seen one game where he's kind of blown expectations out of the water, and that was the last time out. And his price came up a little bit, 5K, but again, solid cash game floor. I think this guy's going to see 24 to 27 fantasy points on DraftKings. Maybe he actually could end up with a little bit less on FanDuel. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's a huge guy when it comes to steals. I think that's stuff you're just kind of feeling lucky for. And I do like the upside that he gives you on DraftKings with 3-pointers. He's just a guy that I feel like I'm going to put in there. If he can get me 35 fantasy points, that's awesome. I think the matchup definitely lends itself to being a close, higher scoring game. So I think that the opportunity is definitely there for him to go 5 to 7x value. But I'm kind of keeping my expectations more around that 5x, looking at him as a cash game play tonight. Probably my favorite cash game play is Stanley Johnson, and it's mostly on FanDuel because we got a price difference, 5,700 on FanDuel, 4,800 DraftKings. I meant to say DraftKings previously. So I think we're at a point where we can safely say that he's not a guy that we can really expect to have those monster 50-point games. That was without Blake. With Blake in the equation, it's now seeing all the usage really suck between Blake, Drummond, and surprisingly Ish Smith. I guess it's not too surprising, but still. Johnson at 4,800, I think he does enough. He's going to see enough shot attempts. He's going to get boards. He might get you some steals. He'll get you a couple of assists. I think he's just he strikes me as being a pretty safe cash game play. You're dipping under 5K now in a game. And like I said before, Detroit seems like it's been pretty blah on the defensive side of the ball. It's allowed opponents to take him right down to the end in the last two games. So I don't see why that can't continue. Close game here. I like the upside for Stanley Johnson. Again, I have maybe a little bit more favorable than Satoransky. I have him probably like 25 to 28, so like a point better, but you're saving $200. But at that point, it really doesn't matter. I'm probably putting all three of these value plays in my cash game and just building out a real solid core around them. Hope that they hit maybe 6x value. And if my other guys hit 6x value, then it should be a really good night. Once again, those value plays, Marcin Gortat, Thomas Satoransky, Stanley Johnson, thanks for watching. Hey, if you could do me a favor, it'd be great if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. I think it helps us move up the Google video rankings throughout the day so other people could see this content. and it helps keep our content free, which is the most important thing. I don't want to go out there and start charging. When I give away picks for free, it makes me feel like if they didn't work out, it's not the worst thing in the world, because at least nobody gave me money. So that's always a big relief, and I feel kind of wrong trying to charge people. Like, I want to build an atmosphere in DFS where we could all learn and grow together and kind of figure out what helps someone become a winning DFS player. And ultimately I have to beat other people. There's probably people in this listening to this video that I might be in contest with tonight, but there's still enough prize money for us to all eat. So if you could like us, subscribe to us, that'd be great. Anyway, we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great night. Hope you win some money.